Welcome to another episode of Do You Really Know God? This week we're going to cover the paranormal in the Bible.
Yeah.
There's not a lot about the paranormal in the Bible.
Well, that's what I think makes it so intriguing. Because I know me personally, I believe in the paranormal.
Yes.
There is no doubt in my mind that ghosts, demons, things of that nature, there's no doubt in my mind they exist.
Well, not only that, a lot of religions do exorcisms.
Yeah.
Which states it's thought about.
Right. But in the Bible, you never hear about ghosts. You never
There is
hear...
not a lot, but there is this one which Jesus actually admits. Well, admits, but does not admit, but does not deny. It says Luke 24:39. Look at my hands and my feet. It is I myself. Touch me and see me. A ghost does not have flesh and bones, as you see I have.
So he's pretty much saying
ghosts are real. This was actually after the resurrection. Because
I was just going to ask that. Because I'm assuming... Because I'm sorry, I don't care how much of a follower I am in all this. If I know you, like, I watch you die and then all of a sudden you just show up in front of me, I'm like, bro, are you a ghost? Or...
Well, there's a couple different things. There's, one is when they were out at sea and our seas got rough.
Yeah.
And Jesus stayed behind on shore.
Yeah, and this was with Peter and everyone on the boat, right?
Yes, and they started panicking because their seas were getting rough and all this, and Jesus actually walked on water, walked up to the boat. And this phrase was right after that. Because they said, are you a ghost? Because we left you on shore.
Yeah.
And that's when Jesus said, touch me. If you can feel flesh, you can feel bones. I'm not a ghost, because ghosts don't have that. So, that is one parable where it's kind of, Jesus kind of admitting that there is ghosts.
Well, my thing is, just a question. I want to know how far out at sea they were. Because think about it. Jesus walked on water, and now I could be wrong, but I've never heard of Jesus teleporting.
No, but if you know the sea that there's at, it's not a huge sea. It's not like an ocean. It is...
Because I've always pictured them like a couple miles out.
Well, the whole sea area, basin area, I think is like 5 or 10 miles. So it's not like the ocean, but it is a pretty big body of water.
Well, I was just thinking because, to get out and catch up with them after he left them, or after they left him on shore, I'm sure he didn't just say, okay, they're gone, let me start walking. I'm sure he had stuff to do, you know what I mean? And so he got done with his stuff, and to make it out there, he had to run a pretty impressive couple mile time.
He's Jesus, you don't have to run.
And I would be out of breath. I'd be like, all right, guys, walk towards me.
He's Jesus, so he can probably have other methods of travel.
But that's another question, which may be for another topic, another video. But I want to know. So in Greek mythology, they call them demigods because they have a human mother or a human parent and a god parent.
Yeah. Which
that's exactly what Jesus is. I want to know his ratio of God to human. You know what I mean?
I think he's more human than God.
You think so?
Yes, because the whole point of Jesus coming onto the earth and being born into earth is to live with the earthly urges, earthly sins, earthly feelings.
Well, like, I know...
And if you're more godly, you want to have that. And you think about it, if he's more godly, like if you look at Greek mythology gods, it's hard for them to die. Jesus died easy.
Well, that's what I was saying, because, like, I know he got hungry. I know he, they don't ever talk about him like getting out of breath or anything like that. But I know he had these human issues. He had to go to the bathroom. He had to eat. He had to sleep. You know what I mean? I understand that he was definitely human. I just want to know if there were certain things that when God was up there concocting Jesus, he's like, he can run a 8-minute 5-mile.
Well, you gotta think about it too. Jesus had healing power.
Yeah, that's another.
Now, according to Jesus, we all have the ability to have healing power. We just don't know how to tap into it. So, there's a couple areas on our Bible. Even after he was resurrected, he was thought to as a ghost. Where he again proved, no, I'm not a ghost. I'm man in form. See the holes in my hands, see the holes in my feet.
So I wonder, did he get resurrected or did he just heal himself?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Because, like, when...
But either way, it's the same.
Yeah.
Because, like, that one dead guy that he resurrected that one dead guy. A dead girl.
Right.
And,
Well, I like to think of resurrection more of, like, if Jesus was resurrected, I like to think of it as, like, we'll say a stage performance. Where, let's say if you're doing a play of the crucifixion of Jesus... you would have your character or your guy who's playing Jesus. He would sit there, die, and then they'd roll him off stage, and then the director would tap him. All right, you're good. Go back up. And I think in that case, it would have to be God to say, okay, you're good. Go back out there.
God resurrected him.
Versus if he healed himself, he was just kind of like, all right, let me take a break real quick, and he just got up and he's like. All right,
I strongly feel that God is the one who resurrected him.
You think so?
Yes. Because that's the way it needed to be. It needed to do what he foresaid he was going to do.
Right.
So, we got several different things. Like, there in the Bible, it definitely talks about demons a lot.
Yeah, I mean... Which
is a paranormal thing.
Right. Well, I mean, first off, we all really know the definition of paranormal, but what does Google say the definition of paranormal is? Because
that's a good question.
What I know the definition of paranormal is anything that is not from the earth. Anything that is not an everyday occurrence on earth. So I'm just curious what Google says the definition is. So while he's looking that up real quick, I just want to thank everybody who participated in the Facebook Live. I don't know. We tried to go live on YouTube. Like we originally said we were going to, and I can't remember. I believe I posted an update on the YouTube channel. I may not have, and if I didn't, I apologize for that. But last week's episode is on both my and Dad's Facebook. What we did was we just kind of did a Q&A live session where we're kind of trying to get some criticisms and things like that. That's why if you notice at the beginning of this video, we just did a little clip of the chorus versus we did the whole song in the beginning of the video. Another thing that we're going to be trying to keep this episode short because that's another thing people had been saying that they think it's too long.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to take all the criticisms and stuff that we got and rework the podcast and stuff so it's more enjoyable and gets through to you guys better.
Okay. Google's paranormal. Denoting events or phenomena such as telekinesis or clairvoyance that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding.
So is it saying only telekinesis and clairvoyance is paranormal?
That's what it says. What it says on Google.
Huh. What does Wikipedia say right there?
Right there.
Yeah, right there.
The term paranormal has existed in the English language since at least the 1920s. The word consists of two parts, para and normal. The definition implies that the scientific explanation of the world around us is normal, and anything that is above, beyond, or contrary to that is para.
Well, I know I could be wrong, so you guys are, always welcome to fact check me. But I'm pretty sure that para is Latin. It's a prefix in Latin that stands, or that means not, pretty much. So the word paranormal means not normal. But that's interesting that the definition on Google only mentions telekinesis and clairvoyance.
Yeah.
Which I don't know what clairvoyance is. But, when I think of paranormal, my mind doesn't instantly jump to telekinesis. That's more of, in my perspective, a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I think of paranormal, I think of zombies, ghosts, demons, even God. Which, I guess another form for those things, and for the word paranormal would be supernatural.
Yeah. But you gotta think about it. In the Bible, there's a lot of talks about demons.
Yeah.
So...
who Jesus casted, 10 demons out of Mary Magdalene?
They didn't say how many, but I think it was 5 or 6. Yeah, I think it was 5 or 6. And then you had the old man on the shore, where he casted 10 demons out of him into pigs.
Yeah, I remember that part. But, there's even... I think Jesus himself says it, that... maybe it wasn't Jesus. Maybe it was just a preacher that I misunderstood. But I think even Jesus says that demons believe in God.
Yeah.
They just choose not to follow him.
Demons... The devil and demons know God is real, and they believe
Right,
it.
right.
They just choose to not think he's as powerful as what he is.
Right.
They don't feel that he is the almighty...
Or they don't feel he's in the right.
Yeah. And they don't think he's like the almighty sayer of all, so they try and prove him wrong. And they're trying to defeat him is what they're trying to do.
Right. But, I don't know, I came up with this idea for the topic this week. Only because last night I watched the whole series, The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. I don't know if you guys seen it. I suggest it. I very much enjoyed it. It's on Hulu. But it's... The idea of skinwalkers is Native American, and it's basically a witch or a paranormal being that takes the form of different things, like a shapeshifter.
Yeah. And
actually attacks cattle and people and stuff like that. And they had scientists go out to see what's going on, because that's been Skinwalker Ranch is a place in Utah, in the mountains, and there was a tribe that lived there, that named it Skinwalker Ranch because it's very well known for UFO sightings. It's well known for cattle mutilations. It's well known for personal injuries that cannot be explained. And I've always been a fan of the supernatural. I've been a fan of the paranormal. And I just want to see what you guys think and see what you think about what the Bible says about it.
The Bible doesn't say a lot about ghosts. There's talk a lot about demons. There's a lot of talks about the demons and the devil. Like when Jesus did go on his 40-day fasting in the wilderness, the devil went with him.
Yeah.
And he actually spent the 40 days with the devil.
Right.
And the devil was tempting him and trying to get him to switch his ways. There's also several times where he casted demons out of people.
Right. And even the Bible talks about angels coming down.
Yeah. And if you listen to that that verse, that's clearly saying Jesus
He
kind
says
of
ghosts.
admits about ghosts.
But my one question. So someone actually recently asked me over the past week since we did the last live that I wanted to bring up to you. This isn't really relevant to the topic per se, but what if you could ask God one question? Like God comes to you right now and says, "I'm granting you one question that I will give you the answer to." What genuinely would be your question? Because mine, and maybe I'm young and stupid and not asking the right question, but my genuine first question, obviously, I mean, I'd be stunned by the amazement of God. But, once if he gave me a couple minutes to think about it and, come up with something, I thought about it over the last few days or last week, however long it's been, and I honestly think my question would be, are we the only people? Or are we the only planet? Well, not planet. Are we the only beings in the universe? I haven't figured out exactly how. Not that I'm going to get the chance. But I haven't figured out exactly the correct way to answer it to find out about aliens. Because I feel like if I say beings in the universe, you might be like, no, you got dogs. You know what I mean? And if you say planet, you'd be like, no, you got Mars.
Yeah. I'd probably phrase it like, are we the only life form in this universe? Is Earth the only life form inhabited planet in the universe?
That might be
Me, I think, believe it or not, my question would be very simple. How can we serve you better?
See, that would probably be a better question than mine. I think that's the more, life experience wise answer.
Because, I mean, we're all servants of God, and I mean, I know I try and do my part as much as I can to the best of my ability.
Right.
But is it good enough? That's the question. And is there a way that I can maybe do it better?
I mean, that's a deep question.
Because with anything, it's true. It's like, are we really, truly doing it good enough? Are we truly giving it 110%? Are we doing it are we meeting his standards? Because one thing, like us at the shop, we have our boards and we have our expectations, and here's our standards. Here's the minimum that we need to do to get through.
Yeah.
God doesn't give us a minimum or a maximum.
No.
He just tells us what we got to do. So we know what we got to do, but are we doing it good enough?
Right. Well,
I mean, there's a lot of us doing it, but are we doing it good enough?
Right. No, and I think that's a great thing, because one of the things I know in the military, I don't know about, I haven't really seen it in everyday life too much, but one of the most common things for like a lieutenant or a sergeant to say to a private who is asking them questions, because I've been put in a lot of situations where I've been just sitting around talking to sergeants and they're like, do you have any questions about the military, blah, blah, blah. And you ask a question and they say, well, the easiest way to put it is, do you want to be exceptional and make this a career and do the best you can? Or do you want to do enough to get by?
Yeah.
And there's even more than those options. Like, you could just not do it at all. You could barely do enough, or you could not do enough to get by but still doing stuff. You could do barely enough to get by. You could be like one of those middle people where you're like not doing enough to get by, but you're not doing exceptional.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good question. I think you could ask God, be like, hey, where am I? How are we as humans? And, on the spectrum? Are we not hitting that mark? Are we barely scraping it? Or are we, which I know this ain't the answer, but are we all the way up here where you're like, you couldn't ask any more of us?
Yeah. And you know that. We know the answer to that, because there's a lot more that we could do.
Oh, yeah. But
all of us, even the ones that do a lot, already could do more.
I like that. And you know what? I don't think enough people realize this, especially us young people. That just goes to show you the different mindset of life experience. Because I would have never thought of a question like that. If we're being 100% honest, all of my questions would have been stupid stuff like, are we alone in the universe? Or,
But you're still young and you're searching for that knowledge. With me, I'm at the age where I don't care if there's other people in the universe. To be honest with you. I mean, I can barely stand the people on this planet. You want me to love more people? No. No, please, heaven God.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is, you know, the age gap is just like, my mindset is, let me figure out the most I can, that way I can capitalize on everything I can, where you're just like, I've pretty much done everything I'm going to do in my life.
Pretty much.
So, how did I do? Give me my email.
Yeah, let me know where I am. Where do I grade at?
But, you know, back on the supernatural. Well, first off, I want to know right now in the comments. This isn't going to be my comment section, so I guess I'm going to have 2 tonight. But right now, before we continue, and you can pause the video, do whatever you want, I want to know what your question would be. It's okay to take a couple minutes and think about it, because I've had a couple days to think about it, and that's the best I could come up with. So
you put me on the spot.
Yeah, and you came up with 10 times better than I did. So I want to know yours. I want to know if God came to you right now and said, hey, I give you one question that I'll give you the answer to. What would you ask?
I mean, that's a pretty good.
It's a
pretty
deep
good
question. It makes you
and
think.
It's deep, and especially you're talking to God, so you're basically, he's gonna be like, you really asked that?
Yeah, right.
Dude, really?
He's gonna boom. Like, I gave you
I'm
this
all
opportunity.
ask,
I gave you this opportunity, and that's what you came up with.
So
he's like, all right, I know where you're going.
Okay. So with the Bible and a ghost, there is a few verses, but believe it or not, all the talks about ghosts, they're all New Testament. There is nothing in the Old Testament about ghosts, other than demons. There's always demons throughout the whole Bible, which is rightfully so, seeing how the devil is a demon, and basically you got all the demons of that follow the devil. And heaven acknowledges it because we're fighting the demons every day, and that's why we're building the end game battle for.
So I have another question, which you can put in the comments or whatever, however you want to do it. But my other question is, God, the devil, and angels and demons, do you consider them paranormal, or do you consider them higher or lower beings?
Well,
because paranormal
is the earthly word.
That's what I'm trying to
it's an
get at a
earthly thing.
little bit.
It's not a heavenly thing. You gotta think about it. Angels are not a paranormal to heaven. They're explained by God because God made them.
But I also believe that you do see angels every day.
On earth. But again, in heaven, they're not considered paranormal.
Right.
The angels are basically God's workers.
Right. But if you see acts of God, and if you see angels, and if you see, sin and the devil every day, can they really be considered paranormal?
Again, I think that paranormal just lies an earthly.
So you believe to humans they are paranormal.
Yes.
Okay.
But to God they are not. But to God, ghosts would not be paranormal either. Because God made all. So he knows what's going on. So, paranormal is an earthly thing that's going on.
Well, you know, it's been proven that there's been more ghost sightings and things like that in recent years. And remember we made that video about heaven looking down on us?
Yep.
I wonder if God and the devil just came together and they said, alright, let's make an agreement. Anyone who's supposed to go to hell, they just become a ghost. No more people go to hell. It's either heaven or ghost.
I think it's more of the fact of neither the devil nor God wants us up there in the place, and they're both denying us. So now we're all stuck on earth like ghosts.
Yeah, right? It's like, this is what you made me do.
God's like, oh no, he didn't do that. Oh no, yeah, you're not coming up here. And the devil's like, dude, I don't want them. No, you keep them.
But all right, another kind of question.
You got a lot of questions for a podcast where we're supposed to be giving answers.
Well, I just have a lot of questions about paranormal in general, but you are more versed in the Bible than me. And I also just want to know your and the viewers' opinions on a few different things, especially when it comes to this type of stuff. But something like a skinwalker or a zombie or vampire, would you consider that its own entity? Or would you consider it as a type of demon?
It's a type of demon.
You think it would be a type of demon?
100% type of demon. It's the undead.
Okay.
It's all the undead. Like a vampire is basically the undead. Zombies are undead. They're dead, but they're not dead. So they're definitely all on the devil's side.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around it because everyone says, "Oh, demon." I've heard people say, "Oh, demons are real, but vampires aren't." What if vampires are, and nobody calls them vampires? They're just a demon. Just like no one classifies us, like an alien wouldn't come down and say, "Oh yeah, they're a mechanic." No, they'd say they're a human.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like demon would be the class or the society of what they are. You know what I mean? That is what they are as a whole. And vampire, zombie, hell demon, whatever, that type of thing is just more of a job.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah. But strange. But yeah, anything that would be undead would be definitely on the evil side. So that would definitely be on the demon devil range.
Because you never hear anything about vampires or anything like that in the Bible. You know what I mean?
There are no vampires.
Or maybe they're just a class of demon that Jesus talks about. He just doesn't feel the need to specify. I'm just saying, it's a possibility, I believe.
Well, I need a vampire, I'll let you know. Well, next time I talk to the zombies.
Yeah, right.
So, I guess the big question here, if you die, you go to heaven or hell, how is your ghost? So, I mean, there's multiple different things, like, a lot of Christians don't believe that, and being stuck in the middle world.
That's more of a Jewish belief, isn't it? Purgatory is a Jewish?
Yes. Jewish and Muslims have the purgatory. And actually the Bible has a sort of a purgatory. If you read the way it's actually done, when we first die, we don't go right to heaven.
Right.
According to the Bible.
Right.
Well, none of our souls go to heaven until the rapture.
So, I don't know. I've always been the type of person where, and I'm still growing as far as knowing the Bible and faith and all of that. Like, even when we first started this podcast, I told you I wasn't sure if I was right to be in the podcast because I'm still in a point where I don't know what I believe and what I don't. And I
better
think,
believe in God.
yeah, I definitely believe in God. But I think the best way to sum the way I am as of today is I believe the Bible is 100% true, and I believe that there is a God. I believe there's a devil. I believe all that, but I subscribe to a few different beliefs as far as religion wise. Like, I think for a majority, Christians have it right, but I also believe there is a purgatory. And I also believe that there is reincarnation. But Christians do not believe in reincarnation.
No.
So that's where I'm personally kind of in this middle ground where what I classify myself as a religion does not believe in this, but I believe in this. And so, like, certain things, like, one of my things as far as how the heaven, hell, and all that goes is I think...
So you should be a Buddhist.
Is that what they're all about?
Buddhist is all about reincarnation.
Yeah, I know they have a lot of it, but I believe in you have a fresh soul and all of the energy that is in Earth or in the atmosphere was there from the beginning. I think that the first humans had a chance, and if they didn't get it right, God gave them a second chance in a new body. And that would be considered reincarnation. But I also don't think you go to heaven right away.
No.
I don't think you
go to heaven or hell right away.
I agree. I believe hell is less of a physical place and more of never getting to heaven.
But you gotta think about it, heaven and hell. One is your body don't go, it's your spirit.
Right.
So, with that being said, there could be issues to when your spirits are getting ready to go to heaven and you don't know how, so you don't go, so you're basically roaming Earth.
Right.
So, in the Bible, it definitely admits that there is ghosts, spirits. Not just with that verse with Jesus, with Luke 29. But you gotta think about it. A ghost is nothing but your spirit, right?
Right.
Your spirit, once you
Move
done with
on.
your body or whatever, your spirit releases.
Yeah.
Well, what if it releases and you don't have nowhere to go and you can't go back in the body and that? So you wind up being a spirit stuck on Earth.
Right. And that's one of the things, like, I believe that heaven and hell are both on Earth. It's just different, I guess you would say, dimensions. So, like, I feel like as humans we have this, it's a known fact there are things out there we cannot see. Like ultraviolet light. We cannot see that with our eyes. There's certain things that we can physically just not see unless we have special equipment.
Yeah.
So I think that us as humans, we are one of the lowest classes as far as we're over here, we're trying to make our way, we're trying to learn how to live life.
Yeah.
And once your spirit does pass over into heaven, I think you're just more in tune to everything. You can now see everything. And I think that's why angels are among us, is because they are literally with us. We just can't see them. We can't communicate with them because we are not in tune enough to communicate and see them.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. Um,
But judging by the Bible, that's not true.
well, it doesn't say it's true, but it doesn't say it's untrue.
Right.
Like
That's
I said, it's very vague about
the afterlife.
actual ghosts.
Yeah.
But you gotta think about it. Even if you die and you become an angel, on earthly terms, you're a ghost.
Right. Well,
In heaven's term, you're not. You're just part of the crew.
and that's why, I wanted to, because there's not. I even looked it up on YouTube. There's not a lot of videos on this topic.
No.
There's not too many articles. That's why That's another reason I picked this topic, is because I genuinely want to know. I want to start the conversation. I want to hear from real, certified, been doing it for, decades, priests, pastors, anyone in the religious community that can shed light on it.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious about this, and I want to start the conversation.
Yeah.
There's really, this episode was going to be short no matter what. Only because there's not
so
much
little information.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about.
But thinking about it, in the Bible it does not. Well, it kind of admits to ghosts in one hand, with some of the verses and parables that Jesus does.
But then again,
on the other hand, it doesn't admit that that there is ghosts. But you got to think about it. An angel is a ghost to us.
In our definition, yeah. But I don't know, because Jesus speaks in so many twisty, windy ways. I almost feel like Jesus never gives you a straight answer.
He does, but he doesn't just put it out that he kind of gets you there.
Right.
Which, to me, if you read the parables right, it makes the meaning that much better, because now you get it. But if he just says, no, it's this, you're going to be like, oh, okay, okay. Next.
Right.
Where the way he does it in the parable,
he makes you find the answer.
Makes you find the answer, so then you see the answer, you're going to remember the answer. Where if somebody says, basically, say here, technician says, yeah, how do I pull his head? And I just went over. Oh, there, head's off.
Yeah.
Or am I going to say, no, here's the material. Okay, you got to take off bolt A, bolt B, bolt C, take off this plenum, take off that gas to drain this fluid, give them a list. They're going to remember it more, because now they got so much more to do than just me saying, here's the head.
Well, I agree, and I get what you're saying, but as far as for people who aren't very mechanically inclined, I think another similar example would be, you're in school or something, and you go up to your teacher and say, hey, I'm looking for the answer to this question. And they say, oh, it's in chapter 3. They don't tell you where in chapter 3.
Yeah.
You have to go through all of chapter 3 until you find it.
Rather than saying, oh, the answer is Little Johnny.
Yeah. And, I understand why Jesus does it that way. I actually kind of appreciate it, because if you think about it, that is how you learn your life lessons.
Yeah.
If everyone just always gave you the answer to everything, if everyone just said, all right, here you go.
But you're not going to remember it.
Exactly.
I think that's the way I best look at it, is the way Jesus does in parables. Because you got to search the answer a little bit. The meaning, you're going to remember more. But if he just gave you the answer, you're going to be like, oh, that's just that? Oh.
Yeah.
Next. And then you forgot about it.
No, I agree. And, but...
So the big question is, what is ghost in God's eyes? Bible does not exactly say.
I wonder, though, and I don't want to dwell on it too much, only because we're trying to keep this one short.
Yeah.
But do you think God sees us as ghosts?
No. We're made in his image, so he made us.
But or angels see us as ghosts, because think about it. We're all just lost souls trying to make our way to heaven.
Yep.
But heaven, people in heaven are already there.
Yep.
So I wonder, because one of the things that, if you look on a lot of paranormal websites and communities and stuff, they'll tell you are ghosts are just trying to reconnect with Earth. They are souls that were here at one point, and they have unfinished business.
Well, that's just it. A lot of ghosts have said that they got unfinished business.
So they're trying to reconnect with Earth and finish their business, so they can move on.
Or some of them, they say the death happened so fast and unexpectedly
that they don't know.
That they don't even realize they're dead.
Yeah.
So they didn't know to follow the light.
Right. And so that's what I was just,
That's good. So, I mean, you gave already a bunch of questions out there.
Yeah.
You're going to have all our viewers doing homework. So,
I don't know. When it comes to stuff like this, I'm very questioned. I will sit there, and if you're willing and have answers, I will ask you every question I can think of.
Yeah. And, see, the Bible doesn't talk about reincarnation really that much.
Right.
But I'm going to say with my question, because I do believe in some form of reincarnation, like what you said, where I feel that life is a test. And if we fail it, I feel that we're reincarnated back onto Earth to do it over. Basically like a second chance.
Like a mulligan. Yeah.
So, I am Christian, but I do believe that there are some reincarnation. Whether it's 100%, everybody gets reincarnated, or just maybe certain people or certain things. I believe it is because I believe that's God trying to give us another chance to pass the test, to move on to heaven.
Yeah.
So he created where he takes our soul out of our body and puts it into another human body. My question is how many people that are Christians out there that believe in reincarnation?
Yeah.
I'd like to know. Do you believe in reincarnation or not? What's your question?
I think I gave you enough questions, so I think I'm just going to piggyback off of yours.
Okay.
If you don't believe in reincarnation, why? Is there a specific verse that we don't know about that says, that kind of puts all of it to rest? Or
that's a good one.
Is there, what's your reasoning?
That's a good one. I like that. That's actually really good. Good outtake on it. Oh, I already got rid of that. So, I can do another verse if I had one to say, but I don't. So with that being said, I hope you guys all have a great week.